Welcome to the Coach Cameron podcast. We're going to talk about Alphonso Davies, how he is the fastest man in Bundesliga, and how we don't have anyone like Alphonso Davies in the United States playing for our men's national team that I'm aware of. We need a lot of them. In order to take over the world, we need a big change, and I'm not sure U.S. Soccer is up for the task. And I'm going to show you Jack's stats over the weekend and how you can use similar stats to help develop your child as a parent, coach, friend, whomever. Math is the key. All of this on episode 565. Alphonso Davies set a new speed record in Bayern Munich's title-clinching win at Werder Bremen on match day 32 of the 2019-20 Bundesliga season. The 19-year-old Canadian was clocked at 22.7 miles per hour, overtaking Borussia Dortmund defender Achraf Hakimi's previous league-wide best of 22.49 miles per hour, and officially making him the fastest player in Germany's top flight since detailed data collection began in 2011. Davies says, "I just do my job, I guess," Davies told Bundesliga.com afterwards. "I don't know when it happened, breaking the speed record, but I just do my job defensively, trying to get the ball back, but I'm happy that I can break a record." So Alphonso Davies, I mean, in the game of soccer, I mean, you're not doing sprints to prove a speed. You're probably conserving a lot of your top speed to avoid injury and stuff. But that's just soccer running. It's not like, Usain Bolt, who holds the world record, which is 27.5 miles per hour, being clocked by AccuTrack or whatever they do in track and field, but he's just running vertically. Alphonso Davies is all over the place, and no telling how much running. Well, I'm sure they could tell us, but they don't tell us the details of it. Like, when did he do it? The time frame. How many runs did he do previous to getting to that top speed? So 22.7. I bet he's running 26 easily. And we have this in America. But for the ones that don't know Alphonso Davies, let's take a look a little bit of his play on YouTube to see not only his speed, but his technique.
Swift as the wind, sharp as a needle. Alphonso Davies, 19 years old, spectacularly on the up with Bayern this season. An attacking spirit who solves defensive problems. The Canada international is in the fast lane to becoming a world-class left-back. So it's high time he went under the analytical microscope. Bayern away to Köln, fluidly gathering the kick-out. Davies plays a nifty 1-2 with Serge Gnabry, and then he's off. Straight upfield in top gear, with marker Dominik Drexler trailing in his wake. Combined with that explosive pace, he also has the all-important eye for a colleague. And accuracy of pass to match. This time the finish doesn't quite do justice to the build-up. 36 sprints per game on average puts Davies in the league's top 5, and to quantity adds serious quality. Under the astute eye of coach Hansi Flick, he's making Bayern's left flank his own.
It's crazy. The article goes on by saying, after arriving from Vancouver in January 2019 as a winger, Davies has gone on to establish himself as Bayern's first-choice left-back and is now considered among the best in the world in the position, which is true. He's amazing, technical, fast, can run for days. He's special. And we have a lot of those special athletes in the United States, but they don't play soccer. They might start out that way. They might dabble in it a little bit, but they leave. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's because in the United States, it's gotten so organized through the pay-to-play system. It's getting organized because when there's tremendous amounts of money involved, people seek control, and they organize it. No different than the mob. You organize crime, you can control it, and just do it for your own, specific needs to help you, like the family, to help the family through crime. That's U.S. Soccer is organized crime. That's what it is. All I can tell you is what I've experienced. From what I see today, you do not see the athletes like we had in the early 90s, late 80s. From what I saw. I've seen it. I'll give you an example of an athlete that was younger than me, but he played with my brother. His name was, or is, Sean McDonald. So Sean McDonald, let's go to his wiki page. Sean McDonald, born June 30th, 1981, is a former American football wide receiver. He was drafted by the St. Louis Rams in the 4th round of the 2003 NFL Draft. He played college football at Arizona State. McDonald has also played for the Detroit Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers. McDonald is a 1999 graduate of Shadow Mountain High School in Phoenix. That's the same high school I went to. Was a 1999 honorable mention All-American by USA Today. He also earned All-State honors as a kick return specialist and an All-Conference as a wide receiver and kick specialist as a junior. He was a 3-year starter and had 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns as a senior before missing 1/3 of his senior year with a broken fibula. As a senior, he had 800 yards receiving, 30 yards average, 1,700 all-purpose yards, and 7 kick returns for touchdowns, and averaged 46 yards per kick return. As a junior, he returned 4 kicks of 90 yards or longer for touchdowns. He still holds the state record for most kickoff returns for touchdowns with 14, which is great. Do you know I held the Shadow Mountain record for most kickoff returns in 1994? It was 2, and he got 14. Why would they keep kicking it to him? This is the most important part of his wiki. He lettered 3 times in football and 4 times each in soccer and track and field. McDonald also scored a goal and an assist on another in winning the state championship in soccer at Shadow Mountain High School. This is what I want to talk about. So Sean McDonald, I'm actually working to get him on the podcast. I've known him, obviously. He played with my brother. He won a state title at Shadow Mountain. And how significant that is, I was the Shadow Mountain High School soccer star for 4 years. And for my sophomore, junior, senior year, we were number 1 in the state. And we found a way to lose in the quarterfinal, semis, or wherever it was at the time. But we never won a championship, which was very disheartening. But Sean McDonald just shows up with a weaker team, mind you. My little brother Matt Cameron played on the team, and he wasn't good at soccer, and he started on the team that won state. My little brother, who is not good at soccer, won the state title with Sean McDonald. Sean McDonald was that good. He could take average players like my little brother and win a championship. And I was at the game. They obviously support my family and support my school. They were playing at Phoenix College, of all places. And they were playing Brophy. And Brophy is notorious for doing well in soccer and winning championships all the time because they're private and they can basically handpick their teams. Sean McDonald scored both the goals. I thought he scored both. That's how I remember. I think the wiki page is wrong, but I remember him scoring both. But he would just take over games. He was so technical and so fast, and he seemed like he wasn't even trying. And he got accused of being lazy. He wasn't lazy. He was an athletic genius. His vision, his ability to identify where to go. He just looked like he was effortlessly trying. He just did what he needed to do. And he was so talented and probably one of the best soccer players ever to play in Arizona that didn't go on to play. He chose the path of football. He was so athletic at the time when he was at ASU. I recruited him to play flag football with me and the indoor guys. So we played in the aired out. That was back in the day, and you had everyone was trying to win that. We were in the super bracket or whatever, and whoever won went to Florida to play the NFL champions, or they set that up. I don't know how they do it today, but It was called, what was it, 4-on-4 aired out back in the day. I forgot who sponsored it. But it was me, Randy Soderman, Jason Vanaker maybe? I forget. But we had all indoor guys. And then we added Sean, and we were called Arizona Thunder. We were, the Rattlers were there. We were representing the indoor soccer team, and Sean was playing illegally, by the way, because I remember he was concerned. I mean, his football coach at the time at ASU, whoever that was at the time, was calling him during it, and I remember Sean would just hang up his phone. I'm like, who was that? He goes, my coach. Wonder where he's at, I'm sure. Playing illegal flag football, but that's how Sean rolled. I mean, he just, typical soccer player, that's what they do. They just pick up games. So Sean just played with us, and it was just indoor professional athletes and Sean, who was a Division I football player. We were constantly trying to find a way, how do we get Sean McDonald to play indoor pro soccer with us? And we are trying to figure out the rules. Could he do football and at the NCAA and play professional soccer in his off season? And it never worked out, obviously. But we knew what Sean was and what he could be. We wanted him to play with us, not only to help us, but we knew we probably could sell him to Europe easily. He could have went to the Premier League anywhere. He ran a 4.240, 10 100 meter. He was special. And by the way, in his NFL stats, it shows him 5'10". He's not 5'10". And pre-draft, it has him at 5'9". He was 5'7". Wide receiver. So you have to be stupid fast if you were 5'7". And to play, what did he play? 9 years in the league at 5'7"? Got to be pretty fast to do that. And that's Sean McDonald. And we have a lot of them. A lot of athletes that don't choose soccer because the way things are done today. I think it's different. When I played, I didn't have to pay. We did car washes or whatever to pay for our Dallas Cup trips and stuff like that. But it was different. It wasn't so organized. Everyone competed against everyone. It was special to win a state cup, and you got your players together to organize to try to win a state title. But now state's not a big deal anymore. Why? Because it's not DA or MLS Next or anything like that. It's not special. So the competition doesn't really exist, and people aren't searching for more athletes. That's a pay-to-play problem. Everyone thinks, you got to be part of this. You got to travel. You got to be in hotels, and you got to have a coach that has a great accent to make it. That is not true. Anyone can organize a team and win if you're a good recruiter. Anyone. And that's what we need. We need more competition like that, like it used to exist. The state cup should be a big deal. It shouldn't be mocked. And it's mocked. In Arizona, it's mocked. Oh, you won state? Well, these teams weren't in it. You could have won if these teams were in it. Are you kidding me? That's a problem. If competition came back and it was a big deal, the people would go find players to compete. That's how it was. When I played in the early 90s club, we had players from all over the place. From the inner city. Because athletes. We needed athletes, and we had them. And now the game isn't that way. When I played, there was also a club called Muso Toros out of the Salvation Army. And all their teams were all black. All of them. Couple Hispanics. And they were athletic. You don't hear about that anymore. Where are those teams? Gone. Why? I think U.S. Soccer has something to do with it. You think? Has soccer changed where it doesn't have teams like that anymore? It doesn't exist today, so the game's not growing. And there's actually probably more teams today, but not in the inner cities. Why? And when these clubs get organized in the inner cities, they change the rules. You got to have a license. You got to have so many teams within your club that meet these parameters to play in the ECNL or APL or whatever acronym they're throwing at you. You got to have certain requirements that has nothing to do with player development or identifying talent. That's pay to play. And I'll keep explaining what pay to play is. It's not just paying for things. It's okay to pay for things, but when you are creating rules through the pay to play system to avoid certain groups from getting funding from the scholarship program of U.S. Soccer, because the ones that make money off youth soccer, that have more of a voice, they kind of take whatever they can. It's a problem. It's a big-time problem. We have Sean McDonald's. We have athletes amongst us that want to play soccer, but it just doesn't make sense for them to do so. It's not organized to do so. We do not cater to that, and that's a big problem. But since since you guys chose soccer to avoid the athletes, no big deal. I'm going to show you the point system. My son plays soccer because his father loves the sport. So here's Jack's stats. All right, so I highlighted the ones over the weekend. So they played Excel, lost 2-0. He played poorly. He played 26 minutes out of the 60 minutes. And the one thing I like about his coach, if he doesn't play well, he's off. Like if he's not working. Now, mind you, Jack was up at 5:30 in the morning because he has seminary. He's working all day, and he didn't drink water. He didn't do the things you need to do, and I knew it, but I wasn't going to let him know other than it is what it is. He had 16 touches, five successful passes going forward, 3 going backwards, 3 failed going forward, and 3 successful back passes, and 1 of those didn't make it with 12 as his opportunity, 12 opportunities total on the ball. It was just his average touch rate with 1.33. He had 2 takeaways, no takeaway assists, one sprint during the game, 1 dive in, and 1 shot. That was his stats. So I reviewed that with him. I didn't yell at him. I let him. He knew he played poorly. I didn't need to say anything to him, and I just showed him his stats, and I just re-emphasized the importance of work ethic and developing your game where it's about work. It's about takeaways, takeaway assists, and those things. So his next game, they play RSL, and this is what I want to highlight. His second game, they lost 7-0. It was horrible performance. Their backline was all met. It was one of the ugliest things ever. They went from a night game to an early morning game. I'm sure that didn't help, but anyways, Jack played 32 minutes, and which was more than previous game. He didn't start because of how poorly he played the night before. He had 29, but once he got in, they kept him in. 29 touches, 10 going forward, only 2 fails passing the ball forward, 4 passes backwards successfully, 0 giveaways passing the ball backwards, with a total of 16 opportunities. Average touch rate was 2, 3 takeaways, 2 takeaway assists, which was a lot better from the night before, and he had 5 sprints of 10 yards or more, really working hard, and 1 dive in and 2 shots. He improved, and so I had the opportunity to talk to my son on a 7-0 loss to review stats and say, you played amazing. He felt good about it. And then it built on. Then the next game, they're playing CCV. Mind you, CCV tied RSL. And by the way, there's just so many freaking teams with the same dang RSL. I don't even know which RSL team we're playing half the time. So CCV, last time they played CCV, they lost 3-0. And CCV tied RSL. And so based on those numbers, we're not supposed to compete and win. Jack plays 60 minutes. He plays the whole game. Has 35 touches, 12 passes going forward, successfully, 3 failed going forward, 4 back passes that were connected successfully, 1 failed going backwards, 20 opportunities, a touch rate of 1.75, 7 takeaways, 2 takeaway assists, 7 sprints of 10 yards or more, and 2 dive-ins. That he elevated his game. He got better each time. Why did that happen? It happened because of stats. That is how you get it done. That's how you really can be successful talking to your child or your player, what have you. Numbers can you talk to your child or talk to the player, can use this at any level, and talk to them specifically about numbers, and they can show improvement. This is so crucial for their development that you can actually overcome these horrible losses they go through. Imagine if I didn't have the stats to talk to my son about how well he did. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, you did a good job, son. You're just saying that. No. Here's the numbers. Look what you did last time. You improved. Keep doing that. That's different. Have those conversations with your child or your player or your friend or whatever. Have conversations about that. And now I can really work with my son and go over the averages. I mean, he currently has 388 touches. He has, since I've started this, he's at his average time frame on the field is 38 minutes and 26 seconds. His average touches in games are 36.8. I have all his averages available to really talk about. His average takeaways is 4.167. And he had a game where he had 7 takeaways in his last game. Well above his average. That's something to discuss. If they reach the milestone, he has 82. Let's go back to it. So here's Jack's stats, his totals and averages. You can have a lot of fun with trying to reward your child or player for accomplishing significant numbers. So here is, in this column, is Jack's total number of touches. He's at a total of 388 with an average of 36.8. When he gets to 1,000, I can reward him for that. Here's how many passes he goes forward, which is 82 successful passes. When he gets to 100, I can say, hey, you made 100 successful passes in games, real games that matter. And then I don't want to really talk about how many giveaways he's done. I can combine the two. 49 and 82 is total pass successes if I want. And the takeaways is going to be a big deal. He has 24 takeaways and 7 takeaway assists. I can use that. I can use these things to reward him. When he gets 100, 200, 500, 1,000, it's significant. And you can give your player, your child that's developing hope. And that's what numbers do. That is crucial for their development. I encourage you all to really focus on those things. Numbers is a great way to communicate, my friends. Have a great day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.